Hello everyone and welcome to another round of Tuesday Night Legacy, where we showcase Magic's most powerful formats. My name is Eugene and I will be your commentator for this round 2 from May 6th. This is one of our Pauper matches. On the left we have Topsy piloting a black burn deck. It's not dealing direct damage like a red deck would, it's creating life loss through the form of when Serrated Scorpion dies, or casting Vampire's Kiss, or Sovereign's Bite, or Fruit of Tyzeris, things of that nature that are going to make your opponent lose life for low casting cost. So basically just trying to count to 20 like a red burn deck will. Now, this does have a small splash of red for Bump in the Night, which allows it to go a little bit further in the mid to late game, being able to flash that back, or using Fruit of Tyzeris to be able to escape and make sure that you don't completely run out of gas once you've cast all of your cards. On the right, we have Brandon playing a green-white Slivers deck. This is a all-in aggro strategy, abusing the sliver mechanic of pumping all slivers with the same abilities. There's actually 3 separate slivers that have been printed with the all slivers get +1/+1 ability, so that gives 12 different pump effects in the deck. And then you just have a bunch of other slivers that have really good abilities that give vigilance or flanking, things like that. And then you can completely reload your hand by casting either Winding Way or Lead the Stampede, getting all of those slivers into your hand. And then from there, you basically just run over your opponent with an overwhelming board presence, taking the game. So burn versus aggro. Let's see who gets there. We have Topsy starting on the play here. Just a swamp and pass. No turn 1. Gaining a little bit of life from Brandon, the enter the battlefield effect, gain 1 life. 2 mana. We're going to see Sovereign's Bite, gain 3 life, lose 3 life. For 2 mana, not a terrible effect. We're seeing a sliver come down on Brandon's side. I think this is not the Sinew Sliver. Oh, it is the Sinew Sliver. So now all of his slivers are going to be getting +1/+1. If he gets a couple more of these down, it can turn into a pretty huge board presence quite quickly. Just seeing another Sovereign's Bite on Topsy's side. It looks like he's stuck at 2 mana here. So although he's already dealt 6 damage and gained 6 life, he's going to kind of run out of gas here pretty quickly if he can't get a couple more lands down to kind of outpace these slivers, especially since with a second Sinew Sliver on the board, looking at a bunch of 3/3s. And that other sliver that you see there is the Virulent Sliver, which is going to give all slivers poisonous. This is the predecessor effect to Infect. Now, it doesn't give creatures -1/-1 counters, but if you have Poisonous 1, then each time that creature deals damage to a player, you get a poison counter on that player. So count to 10 with the poison counters, or take 20 with these huge attackers. One or the other. See a Talon Sliver come down. All slivers gain first strike. Presenting 9 damage on the board right now. 21 down to 12. Think he's dead on board if he can't kind of change up or get rid of a couple of these slivers here. Topsy looking at his hand. He went for that Sign in Blood last turn, losing 2 life to draw 2 cards. Still didn't see any land. Going for that Sovereign's Bite here, trying to just stay alive. So if Brandon doesn't play anything else this turn, at least he's only taking 12 damage, can go down to 3. Maybe see the next turn, but not a ton that he can do from there, though. So we're seeing a Winding Way getting cast here. Winding Way, of course, grabbing top 4 cards and naming creature, get all of those creatures into your hand. Brandon accidentally revealed 5, took that 5th card, put it back into the deck, and then shuffled it up. No harm, no foul. We're not Comp REL here. Getting to put one of those muscle slivers, predatory slivers, into his hand. So 2 more pump spell slivers. Getting to deploy one of those, that's going to be the game. And Topsy's going to scoop it up and go to game 2 here. Hoping to find a little bit more mana. Topsy drops down Okiba Reckoner Raid. So this Saga gets to drain your opponent over 2 turns, and then it transforms into a 2/2 with Menace. And all your vehicles also have Menace. But that's okay, it's not... There's no vehicles in the deck. It's just a good 1 mana, deal 2 damage, and then also get a 2/2 Menace over time. Seeing another creature of the deck coming down, 2 Serrated Scorpions. These actually have somewhat of a relevant butt for 1 mana, being a 1/2, and then if it does die, you get to drain your opponent, which is even better. We see Brandon having no land on the second turn here, just putting down a Virulent Sliver and passing. Not a great situation. Seems like Topsy was mana screwed on the first game, and now Brandon is in a similar situation. See a Vampire's Kiss come down, losing 2 life, gaining 2 life, creating 2 blood tokens. Blood tokens being very good in this deck, as Alms of the Vein, being a Madness card, get to discard and draw a card with the blood token, but you also get to cast Alms for its Madness cost. Getting that same effect of the Sovereign's Bite, only for 1 mana though. A second Virulent Sliver deployed. Unfortunately, well actually, you know what? I don't know. I'm going to have to ask my judge friend on if Poisonous stacks. So if you have 2 Virulent Slivers in play, do creatures each deal 2 poison? Or is it just Poisonous 1? I'm not sure. Don't think it's going to be relevant this game, as we see damage coming across here. Brandon deciding not to block. A blood token getting cracked, and exactly that play I was talking about happens. The Alms of the Vein is the discarded spell. Casting for 1. Getting to draw a card off of the blood token. Maximum value. And a Fruit of Tyzeris, forcing the opponent to lose 2 life. Not the biggest swing, but over time, especially for 1 mana cast and then being able to bring it back from the grave several times, can be a big deal. Drawing. Looks like if Topsy has any burn spell in his hand, this is probably the game right here. Especially with Brandon having no mana for the entire game, just that 1 green-white source. Keeping a 1-lander very risky. We're seeing 4 damage come across, and that's the game. I think that was I'm not entirely certain what that card was, but I'm sure it was a drain for 2. Topsy starting with a Fruit of Tyzeris. We're seeing a new sliver enter the battlefield, the Plated Sliver. All slivers get +0/+1. So they get a little bit bigger of a butt, making sure that they play around things like End the Festivities or Electrickery. Topsy given a choice here with Tyrant's Choice. You can either sacrifice the creature or you can take 4 damage. I always find these to be a little bit risky to play, because if you really want one of the effects, a player is usually going to choose the other. But in this situation, you know, Brandon wanted to keep that sliver in play, and so he was able to deal 4 damage to him for 2 mana. It's not a bad deal. 3 mana in play for Topsy. Oh, you might have noticed that Topsy took the play here, even though he won the last game. Brandon actually insisted that he take the play, because he wanted to be on the draw. See that Vampire's Kiss creating 2 blood tokens, a bump in the night. 5 damage drained for turn. Couple of blood tokens if there's a Madness card, Alms in his hand. Could be in a really good situation. We see the Gemhide Sliver now active on the other side of the board. So Brandon having access to 3 mana here. Putting down the Sentinel Sliver, making it so all of his slivers have Vigilance now, which is an ideal place for him to be, especially with the Gemhide on board. So you can attack with all of your slivers and then tap them second main phase to deploy more slivers, getting the maximum amount of value into play. attacking for 2 here. And then tapping them. Tapping 1. Tapping 2. Gonna cast a Winding Way. Looks like a Winding Way. Look at the top 4. Get some Slivers into hand. A pretty good deal. Looks like Brandon sided in a ton of pump and hexproof effects. Like Vines of the Vastwood and Ranger's Guile. Trying to protect his Slivers. We see a blood token getting cracked, just discarding a swamp. Looks like Topsy's flooded a little bit here. Deciding what he wants to do with this 2 mana. It's another Tyrant's choice. Either sacrifice one of your creatures or take 4 damage. Brandon being very confident here, deciding to take the 4 damage instead of losing any one of his creatures. Gets to gain a life with his green-white source. Presenting 1, 2, 3. Here we go. So we get that Sinew Sliver down. That's going to pump the board here. I appreciate Brandon going out of his way to keep track of the power and toughness of each of the Slivers. Just gets annoying, I guess, when you have a huge board presence. So 2, 4, 6, 9 damage presented on the board. Going down to 19 minus 9. So basically a 3-turn clock, 2-turn clock, since the Sinew Sliver can attack next turn. Although 6 is a dangerous place to be, especially against this black burn deck. Topsy does only have 1 card in hand, though. So let's see here. Taking a whole lot of damage. Decides to crack the blood token in response to draw a card. Has no other effects. And we're about to go to damage when Brandon says, hold on. Counting it up here. Hold on, I have effects. It's going to cast double Vines of Vastwood, giving each creature +4/+4 until end of turn. So that's going to go from 9 to 17, dropping him down to 2. And he says, yeah, I'm good. I can pass turn. No problem. Topsy taking a little aback here. Looks like he has at least 1 effect in hand. I'm not sure if it's going to quite get him there. It looks like a cast down. And that's going to be a Ranger's Guile to give hexproof. And he's just going to play his Serrated Scorpion and pass the turn. And that is going to be the end of that game. Slivers takes it with an overwhelming board presence. As always, thanks for joining us for that game. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did commentating on it. If this is your first time to the channel, please consider liking and maybe subscribing to the channel if you like this kind of content and want to see more of it in the future. Thanks again to Spellhold Games for allowing us to record at their store. And finally, if you are still interested, there's still time to sign up for the Modern 1K that's going to be happening June 4th. That's actually this weekend, if you are watching this on the day that this is dropping. So, if you are interested in that tournament, please check out the link in the description of this video. We'll see you next time.